Hi friends, welcome back, or if you're joining us for the first time, welcome to the channel. My name is T and this is my YouTube channel, Crumpus Tea and Sewing. So in today's video, we are going to take a look at some jacket and blazer patterns that you can sew for the fall of 2022. So if you haven't had a chance to check out my recent video on sweater patterns that you can sew for the fall of 2022, go ahead and check the description box below and you'll find a link to that video. Check out that video and you'll see some really cool patterns that you can sew for this year as well. So with all of that said, let's go ahead and get into the video, and I'm going to share with you some of these beautiful jacket and blazer patterns. So today we're going to take a look at both commercial and indie patterns. So for every commercial pattern that I share with you, I also have an indie pattern that is very close in silhouette to the commercial pattern. So with all of that said, let's go ahead, get into the video, and we're going to start with the McCall's M8210, which is a missus jacket. It is rated for your average sewist. It has a drop shoulder, a sleeve band. You also have buttons going down the center front. You have pockets on the front of the jacket. You also have a collar, and you also have a back yoke as well. So the description says that it is a missus button-up jacket, shacket, that has a drop shoulder, long sleeve, back yoke, and inverted pleat. So it's a really cool pattern. I think it came out last year, and it doesn't have too much to it, and it doesn't say if it's lined here or not, but I don't think that this is a lined jacket. So if you like that pattern but you prefer to have it in the indie pattern, I would suggest the Ilford jacket. Now this is by Friday Pattern Company. It comes in extra small to 7X, and that's what I love about Friday Pattern Company. They have really wide size ranges, so pretty much anyone can sew this. The other thing that I like about this particular pattern, the Ilford jacket, is that it is not only size inclusive, but it's also unisex. And so again, anyone can sew this. This is a pattern that also have drop sleeves, a collar, and also buttons going down the center front. You have patch pockets, and you have a number of different templates for your patch pockets. So you can put on the breast or on the lower part of the jacket. And you also have a sleeve band. If you like the Ilford jacket, but you want something a little bit more simpler, like in detail, I would suggest the Stacker jacket, and this is by Paper Cut Patterns. Now this is a very popular pattern. A lot of people have sewn this pattern, and so there are tons of reviews out there for it. Very similar to the Ilford and the McCall's M8210, with the exception this one is lined. You have buttons going down the center front. You also have breast pockets, and the breast pockets have buttons on them. You also have a sleeve band, and yeah, it's a really fun little versatile jacket there. There's also the Simplicity S9239, which is very closely similar to the Stacker jacket. Now this pattern is a pattern that Sara of the Naughty Gnome, she sewed this, and she has a really great review on the channel. I'll make sure that I put her link to her review in the description box below so you could go over and check out that review. She gives you all the details, and she tells you the fabric that she used and how she finished her jacket off. I believe she used bias binding, and it's a really great review. But anyway, the Simplicity S9239 also have a drop shoulder, collar. You have a breast pocket, you have buttons going down the center front, and you also have a sleeve band. And on the sleeve band, you have the option of putting buttons on it as well. So very cute jacket there. There's also the Itch to Stitch, I think it's the Atinas jacket. So this is more like a denim jacket that is your classic denim jacket. So this jacket, actually, you have different bust cup options, and it goes up to double D, which is really nice. It also has a front double princess seam, chest pockets with flaps and faux chest pocket, front and back yokes, and optional single welt pockets as well. And there's also an optional button side tab that is on the band. So very, very cute options. Next, this is more like a blazer, and I just recently made this, and so I am really excited to share my review for this. I haven't made a review for this on the channel yet. However, it is coming. I'm in the process of making another one before I give you my final review. So this is the Simplicity S9468. Very great jacket. I absolutely love this. Now, it says that it's easy to sew, and I partially agree with that because you don't have any buttons that you are placing on the garment. So you don't attach any buttonholes or buttons. You have one loop on the garment and then one shank button that you're sewing onto the garment. But in terms of like functional buttons that go down the entire length of the center front, you don't have any of that. You do have a notch collar for one of the variations and a shawl collar for a different variation, but you do have the option of not placing a collar on at all, and that's what would make it easy in my opinion. So if you chose view A and D, the variations without the collar, that would be very beginner or advanced beginner friendly. But I think the variation with the collar, I think that's going to be more of your intermediate sewist that's going to be sewing that. The description for this says that it's a relaxed unlined jacket in 2 lengths that has a drop shoulder, patch pocket, sleeve bands, back slit, and you can choose from the shawl collar or the collarless option. So I lined my jacket. And if you are interested in learning how to line and unline jacket, let me know in the comment section below, and I'll see about getting a tutorial if enough of you are interested in learning about how to line a jacket such as this. But I like the really clean finish on the inside, so I really wanted to try my hand at lining it, and it turned out really well. And like I said, I'm in the process of making another one, so stay tuned for my full pattern review of this jacket pattern. So this next pattern is the Heather Blazer by 5 Day Pattern Company, which is very similar to the Simplicity pattern that I just showed you. This is for intermediate sewists, and the size ranges from extra small to 7X. You have basically the same thing that you have, you're getting the same thing in this pattern that you're getting in the Simplicity pattern. So you have your notch collar, you have your one single button closure there, you have oversized front pockets, and I'm not for certain if this one is lined or not. It doesn't say it in the description. But it does say that it is for your intermediate sewist. So that is an option if you want to do an indie pattern, but you don't want to do the Simplicity pattern. This is definitely another option to that. Now, moving on to shackets, the Simplicity S9388 was all the rave, especially because it was part of the Sew Your Review Challenge, I think, of October. And so there are tons of images of people wearing this over on Instagram, tons of reviews. So I definitely would encourage you to look this pattern up and look at the reviews. So the description says that this is a button front jacket with yoke, front patch pockets and side seam pockets, long sleeves, button cuffs with pleats, back yoke with pleat, and a lined yoke and sleeves. So you have different options there. And again, this is also a unisex jacket, so that's really nice. Now, if you want an indie pattern version of that, I would say the Ingrid jacket by Vicky Sews would be a really great choice. This one is a little bit more advanced though, and it is definitely for your intermediate sewist. It has a semi-fitted straight silhouette. It features a collar and a collar stand, patch pockets with pointed flaps that fastens with a button and buttonhole. It has single-breasted button placket, bust darts, and it also features a yoke and a decorative button tab on the back of the garment. So you have quite a bit going on here. It also talks about top stitching as well. You have, your collar stand, your buttons going down the center front. All of that is going to be for your intermediate to advanced sewist there. There's also the McCall's M7818, which is another unisex jacket by Melissa Watson. This is a line button front jacket that has notch collar, pockets, and a back slit. So this is going to be, again, for your intermediate to advanced sewists as well. Now, similar to this McCall's M7818 blazer pattern is the Closet Core Jessica pattern. Now, this Closet Core Jessica pattern is also a really great one that has great reviews. It has a lot of pieces to it. Now, I purchased this pattern a couple years ago and I intended to make it myself, but I think it has something like 26 or 30 pattern pieces. It's insane, but you have a lot going on with this. It's a tailored jacket that's semi-fitted, that has a semi-fitted silhouette. You have a notched collar, single button closure, back vent, shoulder pads, welt pockets, two-piece sleeves, pocket flaps. You're also doing top stitching. The sleeve have decorative cuffs. I'm sorry, the sleeve have decorative buttons, and you also have a leather or a suede elbow patch that you're sewing onto the garment as well. So very, very detailed, and it's also lined. So again, if you are up for the challenge, the Jessica blazer would be definitely for your intermediate to advanced sewists, but it is a great option as well. It has some really great reviews. So I want to also share with you some patterns that are new releases and also patterns that people haven't sewn yet, or we don't have that many pattern reviews out on these patterns, but they have some really great style lines, and I think that they would be worth taking a look at and also possibly even sewing these patterns. So the first is the Simplicity S9227. This is very similar to the Simplicity S9468 pattern that I just sewed. The major difference between this pattern and the Simplicity S9468 is that the Simplicity S9468 has a drop shoulder. This pattern does not have a drop shoulder. Also, this pattern have inseam pockets instead of oversized pockets that are placed on the front of the blazer. So that's also a major difference. But you can tell by the art illustration and also the way that the model is wearing the jacket, it's very similar. It has the notch collar. You also have it's an unlined jacket, just like the Simplicity S9468. It has one button on the front for your closure, and again, very similar to the Simplicity S9468. This jacket also, you don't have that back vent on the back of the garment like the Simplicity S9468. So if you are wanting a jacket that's similar to that Simplicity S9468, but have different, slightly different features, this would be another option to choose from. Next, I would say the Simplicity 8697 would be a pattern that's worth looking at. It's, again, a really nice styled blazer that have your one button closure. You have the option between your shawl collar or your notch collar, which is really fun. It is an oversized boyfriend blazer, and the size range is from 10 to 28W. So that's like the main difference between some of the blazers that we've actually taken a look at, is that this one actually goes up in size a little more, and so it includes more plus sizes. So that's a really nice pattern for if you want to increase in size. Next, this Simplicity S8843 pattern, I think would be a really great pattern if you want something that is more of like your traditional jacket that have your separating zipper or your snap button closure. This would be the jacket for you. I think Mimi G also have a jacket that's very similar to this, and so you can get like a military style jacket, or you can do this jacket, which is more like a utility jacket, which is really nice and fun. It's a missus jacket that comes in sizes extra small to 2XL. It features an optional hood with a zipper front closure and pocket variations. And you also have the option to do this in like an organza. You can also choose twill fabrics or cotton fabrics. Those are the type of fabrics that you're using for this type of jacket. Let's take a look at one more blazer pattern for men. This is the Simplicity S8962. This is a Mimi G style pattern, and all of Mimi G patterns come with a sew along. So if you get this pattern, you can rest assured that this would be something that you can get through, even if you are an advanced beginner or intermediate sewist who just need you know, a hand in helping you to complete the project. So this is a men's lined blazer, and here's the art line. Here you have a two-piece sleeve. As you can see at the lower edge of the sleeve, you have some button detail there. You have a notch collar. You have a breast pocket as well as two large front pockets. You have some darting in the front of the blazer, and then in the back of the blazer you do have a vent in the back as well. So this is a really great option for men, for those of you who are looking to sew a men's jacket. All right, so let's hop on over to Butterick and let's see what they have to offer. So this is a newly released asymmetrical button front jacket for misses. You also get a pant pattern with this as well. Now this particular jacket does not have a collar going around the neckline, so that should be really easy. But again, you do have your 3-button closure there on the front, and it's asymmetrical, and you have somewhat of like a peplum at the bottom of the jacket there. And then you also have flap details that's on the front. So I think that it's a welt pocket. I'm not quite for sure. It's saying that this is a flap detail here, so it might just be a flap instead of actual welts on the pocket. But this is a really nice jacket. I really like it. I like the asymmetrical look there. And here's the back detail. As you can see, it's a really nice clean finish, no vent or anything like that back there. So really nice option there for those of you who might want a semi-fitted look instead of having like the oversized blazer look. This next pattern is for the whole family. This is the Butterick B1916 for children's, teens, and adults. This is a shacket. It's a button front family size jacket that has a collar, pointed collar, long sleeves with single button cuffs, flat patch pockets, and back yoke with pleat. The jacket also has a curved or a straight hem, and you have length variations. So that's what the pattern looks like. Very cute. So for the child size here, it's showing it in like a plushy fur type material, or like a plush fleece material there. So you can definitely do the shacket in that type of material. You also have a plaid type material here, which is going to be like your cotton fabrics. Somewhat of a cotton or cotton fleece type fabric will work with this. This Butterick blazer is I think it came out last year, but for whatever reason they are highlighting this on the Something Delightful site, and they have been for a while, so it must be a really great blazer here. So this is a Mrs. Blazer jacket that is you get a semi-fitted look. It is for advanced sewists, and you have your 1-button detail and your notch collar and pockets. It doesn't say if it's lined, but since it is advanced, I would think that this is going to be a lined jacket. Here are your line art details here. Really advanced here. You have your 2-part sleeves, buttons that's on the edge of the sleeve there. You have pockets on the side of the jacket as well. It looks like you're going to have a side panel for your front and also your back. You have your 2-piece sleeves, darting on the front of the jacket to give it shaping. You have a breast pocket, So it's going to be very detailed. Lastly, let's take a look at a few Vogue jacket patterns. Now these again are some new releases. I really like this double-breasted jacket that Vogue came out this season with for this season. This is the Vogue V1927 double-breasted jacket. It's a lined jacket that has a peak lapel, two-piece sleeves, working vent, shoulder pads, lined patch pockets with flaps and top stitching. You can also do a contrast variation for the upper collar, and that is what the art line looks like. Very, very detailed, similar to the Butterick pattern that I just showed, but you know, you have those oversized pockets on the front of the blazer, and it's also double-breasted, so you have more button details on this jacket versus the Butterick pattern. While this Vogue V1913 blazer is still advanced, you have fewer details, and so this would be probably for your intermediate sewists. And it is a lined blazer that's semi-fitted. It has shoulder pads, side panels, welt pockets, and two-piece sleeve. You also have this jumpsuit that actually comes with the pattern as well, which is really fun. And here's the line art for it. And let's look at some more angles of the jacket. I really love the fabric choice that they chose for the model and to showcase this blazer. It's so fun and cute. Such a beautiful, beautiful pattern. This next pattern, the Vogue V1867, is a pattern that I've been wanting to sew for a while. I do have the pattern. I just have not sewn it yet. This is also going to be for your intermediate to advanced sewists. You have a beautiful semi-fitted jacket. It's lined. It has shoulder pads. This is an inclined design. You have your two-piece sleeves. You have a vent. You have a side front and side back seams. You also have a zippered pocket. And then this also comes with your pair of slacks as well. So very cute jacket. It has more details to this jacket. As you can see in the back, you have, you know, there's different sections back there that they have sectioned off. And then the collar is just basically a built-in collar, kind of like almost like a shawl collar, but it's not, you know, really big or elaborate or anything like that. So it's a really nice little collar band that goes around the neckline. This Vogue V1877 bomber jacket, it's a unisex bomber jacket. I also own this pattern. It came out last year. I think it is a great pattern. I can't wait to get my hands on it and to start sewing with it. I love that the commercial patterns are now coming out with a lot more unisex jackets, which I think is really nice because anyone can wear these types of jackets. So this is for your average sewist. This pattern is rated as average, so this is going to be for your intermediate sewist. It's a loose-fitting lined unisex bomber jacket that has drop shoulders, a back yoke, welt pockets, front separating zipper closure, rib knit trim, and you have collar variations. And here is the line art. So I'm really loving this bomber jacket and I'm hoping to sew this soon. If I don't sew it this fall, I'll definitely sew it in the spring. So those are all the jacket and blazer patterns that I have to share with you today. If you have any suggestions, please leave them in the comment section below and let me know what your favorite pattern to sew with during this time of the year is. I am always looking for new patterns with great designs, with a great fit, and that are drafted really well. So if you wouldn't mind sharing those thoughts with me in the comment section below, I would be so appreciated. All right, thank you so much for tuning in today. If you liked today's video, please make sure you give it a big thumbs up. If this is your first time and you enjoyed the content here today or any of the content on my channel, make sure you give me a big thumbs up and subscribe to the channel.